Hello, and welcome back to this second segment of Arts Talk with Mayor Berry and Ann Lerner. And I'm still Sherry Burr, your host, and we're just having questions and answers with Mayor Berry and Ann Lerner with the audience. So other questions for Mayor Berry, Suzanne or Ann Lerner?
I have a question for Mayor Berry.
Yes.
You said that the ABQ plan is just about projects that benefit Albuquerque in general. And so I was wondering if any average citizen can propose projects, and if so, how they would go about doing that.
So not only can you, but that's where we built it from. It can't be a mayor's plan. It can't be a city council plan. It has to be built by the community. So in these meetings we had in the first couple of years, a lot of ideas came forward. Let's make the Bosque more accessible, but let's protect it, preserve it, make sure we can hand it off to the next generation better than we found it. That was a community-driven. The 50-mile bike activity loop that we're building around the city,
Wow.
the first phase of which will go from Nob Hill to Uptown. And it'll be a 50-mile loop, take you through mountains and rivers and agrarian areas and
Wonderful.
historic Route 66. That was a community-driven plan. We want your ideas. You can go to cabq.gov, which is the mayor's website. There's a mayor's corner there. You can go in, send us an email. We take all of that input and try to craft these plans around that. So we love to hear what you have to say.
Wow, that's great. Other questions, Jasmine?
Do you anticipate any of these new shows having as much of an impact as Breaking Bad did?
Ooh, whoa.
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the University of Maryland, in their honors program, now has a course called Deconstructing Breaking Bad.
Wow.
And their assignment is not textbook, but it's to watch the entire series. It's a brilliant show. Vince
Yes.
Gilligan, who wrote it, will be studied for years. So,
Yes.
but hopefully there will be additional shows. Better Call Saul. Night Shift is starting up again this month. We have a lot going on. So.
Yeah, that's, wow. I mean, that show was absolutely incredible. I think it was one of the best shows in the history of television, just for the complexity of the characters and the way the shows evolved. I mean, it was incredible to watch.
The fact that the audience ends up rooting for a bad guy, continually, because, well, there's worse people than Walter White.
How does Vince Gilligan put Mr. Chips turns to Scarface? Is that
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
right.
yeah.
That's
No,
the way he
it's
puts it?
perfect.
But another answer to that question is when you say impactful from an art standpoint, from a studying film standpoint, it's a very special production.
Yeah.
But whether it's Breaking Bad or Night Shift or Transformers, an electrician still gets a job.
Yes.
A gaffer still gets a job. Someone's still making food. The Star Trailers people still get to rent a trailer. So we're so proud of the program, and we're
Right.
proud that Albuquerque, and I get more play as a mayor off of that, off Breaking Bad. There was all that discussion about, does it give your city a bad name?
Right.
On the contrary, it's such a cool show, and it's so widely recognized around the world that almost invariably people will say, wow, I got to know Albuquerque through that
Right.
show. And they know it's a fictional drama.
Right.
So, it's like NCIS Miami. I
Right.
mean, it gets to show Miami. It's
Right.
good for Miami.
Right, exactly. And has Albuquerque ever been filmed more beautifully than in Breaking Bad? I mean, they did a great job.
That's what I hear from a lot of people,
Yeah.
other mayors and people I talk to around the country. They say, boy, you have a beautiful city.
Yeah.
I love the show, and you have a beautiful city.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I believe that people around the world now can spell Albuquerque.
I was actually online the other night ordering something. I have big feet, so sometimes I can't find shoes locally. So I was ordering a pair of shoes, and I said Albuquerque, ALB. She goes, I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
swear to you.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Somebody was coming out of Bolivia, and they were still on the Bolivian side, and the guy was looking at her passport, and he said, "You're from Albuquerque?" And she said, "Yeah." And he said, "Do you know where Walter White's house is?" I mean, Bolivia? That's great.
Yeah, that is
Everybody still
great.
knows who the soup Nazi is, right?
Right.
Right.
Why do you know that? I mean, people still go to that. They still go to places in New York that were filmed in Seinfeld. It's still a very popular thing to do. They
Right.
want to go see the places that they remember fondly from television.
Exactly. Exactly. Other questions? Monique?
Hi, this is for Mayor Berry. Is there anything that you guys are doing as far as initiatives to get the youth involved in this industry, or are you giving back to the youth in any kind of way from what you guys are earning?
Yes, couple things, because it's vitally important. when I got in the mayor's office, there was no youth council. I couldn't believe it. So we started a youth council. So now I have kids that have to apply. It's a rigorous application, but students from 13 to 18 years old can be part of the mayor's council, youth council. And we really put them to work. We've done several documentary films with the students, and Chris Scholler is a great local documentary maker. And we get the students involved, everything from opioid addictions to bullying to net
Right.
etiquette, which is one of our most recent ones. So we really put the students to work, and a lot of it revolves around that. We also, when I was in the state legislature in 2007, I talked to a group of students at Valley High School, and I said, what do you need in high school? What to give you, we didn't know we were going to call it running start at the time, but I said, to get you a running start so that you get your high school diploma and some kind of a certification to skill set. And the students said, we want to learn more industry taught curriculum in the high school. So we changed the state law, had to do that. And now we have multiple areas where we're teaching in APS. We have construction, we have film, we have medical services through Presbyterian Hospital. We have surveying. We have banking through New Mexico Educators Federal Credit Union.
Wow.
And we're giving these kids industry-taught curriculum. The reason I say that to answer your question is film has been a big part of that. So the students can go to UPublic and they can learn the skills so that when they leave school, maybe they're not quite ready for a full-blown experience, but they can get the first year of an apprenticeship maybe out of the way, or they can head down to the union hall or the non-union hall, whatever they want to do, and say, look, I'm ready to go. And industry's seen me in high school. I've seen industry in high school. The soft skills that go with that, you know, the 8 o'clock meeting starts at 8.
Right.
Tuck a shirt in, the stuff that goes with kind of working.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Other questions for the mayor? Yes, Eric?
Hi.
Hey.
I have friends in other cities, and they always talk about how annoyed they get when films or TV shows get filmed there just because streets get closed down and parking spaces get taken. That doesn't seem to be the case here, or generally it hasn't been the case here in Albuquerque. It seems like it's been very positive, and people think it's really cool. But have you felt, or do you think that that may change as over time, that as more films get filmed here, people are going to kind of get a little more annoyed by street closures and things like that?
Good question. I think Ann does a wonderful job at the logistics of that. I think it could be a lot worse if, when somebody calls us and calls Ann and says, I want to film, the red carpet rolls out and we make it happen. She makes it happen and her team. I think Albuquerque understands the importance of film in general. People still get annoyed. I think you still get calls, you know, about that. We do our best to mitigate it. But I was on National Public Radio recently, and the interviewer on Marketplace, and the interviewer said, yeah, the mayor of Nashville, and who's Mayor Dean, who's a nice guy, I know him, said, yeah, Nashville's great to film here, but we're sure glad when it's done filming. And my answer was, come on down. we can make ourselves look like Nashville.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah, you can film anytime you want here because it's such an impact for us.
Okay.
The film office in 2008 started a policy of that we have 350 neighborhood associations. So if you're filming in a neighborhood association, we strongly encourage the production to give $100 to that neighborhood association. Over $80,000 has been raised. Number of complaints have bottomed out.
Whoa.
And the industry does a good job, in my opinion, of being respectful.
Yes.
You're going to blow a car up in front of somebody's house, might want to let them know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Other questions? Can you stand up? Anybody?
So my question has to do with like the revitalization of downtown.
Yes.
And like there was that awful fire last summer. Are they going to rebuild the mural and do more arts work downtown?
The short answer is yes. And we're talking with the university leadership as well about arts accelerators. Today I was downtown. There's people from all over the world downtown doing arts accelerators. The downtown revitalization is going to have to again be organic, and it's going to have to be done with catalysts. And so what I've done as a mayor, instead of coming up with the only plan for downtown, what we basically said was, make it happen, Albuquerque. What do you want to do downtown? People wanted to have brew pubs downtown, breweries. We said, okay, we changed the zoning. You can have a brewery downtown. They wanted maker spaces. We said yes to that. We have now people, if we can attract those kinds of activities, that will then drive the demand to rebuild. I think you're talking about the fire at the Flamenco Institute. Yeah, horrible. And so we're hoping that people will take it upon themselves. And this is why we're trying to do catalytic things as a government with your money, as a taxpayer, but what that really drives multiple dollars of investments to follow a smart public sector investment. And I'm very encouraged with what we're hearing. We have a new request for proposal out to make an entertainment hub downtown, right across from the First Baptist Church site, which will now be UNM's Innovate ABQ, the core of our innovation district. So we're hoping for big things, but it's going to have to be, it'd be arrogant to say I'm the only guy that has a plan. We're working with Councilor Benton and other city councilors. We're working with neighborhood associations to let you build your downtown. I'm there to help you get it done.
Wow, that's great. Other questions for Mayor Berry? Because I have one. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody in the audience. Okay, so my next question is, what would you say is the most fun part of your job, both of you?
Go ahead. It's not working for me, is it?
It's great to have the support that starts at the top down with Mayor Berry and all of the department heads. I think the most fun for me is helping the local New Mexican, the local Albuquerquean make their film with maybe a budget of $30,000, $35,000. Ryan Turi just did that. We're showing a premiere of his movie, Abe Makes a Movie. That's a local guy who's made a full-length movie
Wow,
for very little money.
that's great. Mayor?
Well, being a mayor, and I would encourage anybody here
To run?
to do something public service-wise. Run for the legislature, run for the city council, run for mayor, run for president, whatever you want to do. It's a beautiful experience. It's humbling,
Right.
but it's also one of the most interesting things I've ever done. And it's a very diverse job as being an American mayor. And a lot of things happen in cities that don't happen in DC and other places. But the most fun I have is things like this. I get to meet people that I never would have had a chance to meet with. I get to have dinner with them. And I love to have groups of people that have differing opinions, diverse viewpoints, and it's never fun having dinner with somebody that believes exactly what you believe, right?
Oh,
Or only has the same thought process as you. So I get to meet people all the time, and I've met some really interesting, cool people. Maybe you've got neck tattoos up to here. Doesn't
Right,
matter. Maybe you're
right.
wearing a three-piece suit. It doesn't matter. If you have something interesting to talk about, and we have an abundance of that in Albuquerque, man, it's a cool part of the job.
That's great. And what was the biggest challenge when you shifted from being a businessman to mayor?
The pace.
Oh.
The pace of the job is very similar. I still, I'm up till midnight, 1 in the morning working. I still get up early to go to work and,
Right.
and to be working. So the energy level's not as much. But in the private sector, sometimes you can be a little bit more unilateral. You can say, I want that done by 3
Right.
o'clock. It's done.
Right.
As a mayor, sometimes you say, I want that done. 6 months later, you're getting around. It's starting to but it's not a knock on government. It's just there's
Right.
processes in place that you go through.
Right.
And so that was it wasn't a shock, but it was different from my time in the state legislature, where I could craft legislation. I'm not in the legislative branch anymore. I love the executive branch, but I also miss the legislative branch. So it's hard to give one answer to that, but sometimes it just takes a little bit longer to get things done. And I've learned to appreciate it as well as still be a little frustrated by it.
Yeah, I can understand that. Thank you so much to both
Sure,
of
thanks
you
for having
for
us.
being
Thank you.
here.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. And thank you, the audience, for joining us for this segment of Arts Talk with Mayor Richard J. Berry and Film Liaison Ann Lerner. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.